Yeah, I'll tweet it in a second. I'll tweet it when it's up. Oh, I'll try.
Four, three, two, one. We're live. All right. Hi, stream monsters. We have a fair amount of viewers right now, and I'm sure they'll pile in as they see that I have Lady Super Yan on my show today. Her real name is Miranda, but she's also known as Super Yan, and she is an awesome gamer. And I'm so excited to have you on my show, Miranda. So, why don't you tell me how you got into the fighting game community? Like, what is your history in fighting games?
I started playing, the very first fighting game I ever played was probably Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis. I don't remember which one. Maybe, and then Tekken 2.
Okay.
I started playing, like, seriously when Tekken 5 came out in the arcade, and I was at the arcade to play music games. And I guess while at the arcade, I just saw people lining up for Tekken, and I'm like, oh, there's a new Tekken game. I remember playing that, when I played Tekken 2 at home with my sister. But it's at the arcade now, and I spend a lot of time here. Maybe I should pick it up again. Maybe I should play a fighting game.
Okay.
And the fact that they had the PlayStation pad available to plug in kind of made it easier for me to pick it up, because I was scared to learn how to use the arcade stick. And they had a pad port, so I brought my PlayStation controller from home. I plugged it in, and I felt more comfortable because it was easier. I didn't have to worry about learning, my execution problems or whatever.
Right.
So playing at the arcade became really comfortable because of that. And I had friends at the arcade already, and so I just kind of gravitated from music games to fighting games to Tekken 5, and I started really playing when Tekken 6 came out. And they removed the pad ports from that, so I had to learn how to play stick, and I had no problem doing that. It was actually easier than I thought it would be. And that's when I really got involved, and I met Tekken players. I made friends with the Street Fighter players, and I went to EVO later that year, I think.
Awesome.
I didn't compete my first year. Actually, I signed up. I'm sorry, I'm going out too far.
No, go ahead. You can.
At my first EVO, I signed up for Tekken. It was Tekken 5 DR, I'm pretty sure. And I chickened out because I'd never been. The only tournaments I've ever entered were local tournaments that were 10-man brackets. I was so scared because I didn't realize how big EVO was, and it was smaller than it is now at the time. It was 2008, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 2007 was my first year. I don't remember, but I was so scared to enter that I left the room when they called me and I got DQ'd. No one knew who I was. They don't know who Super Yan is or anything like that. So they didn't know who to ask. Hey, do you know that person? No one, no one knows who I am. So it's they couldn't even find out who I was if they're trying not to DQ me.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure I just got DQ'd both times. I probably should have told them that I wouldn't want to play so they wouldn't have to. I didn't know how it worked. It was so sad. And the next year they didn't have Tekken, and then Tekken 6 came out. I played Tekken 6. That was my last year when they had it at EVO, and I think I was one away from making out of pools. I didn't.
Oh wow.
I was doing okay. That's kind of what I expected, because people in my pools didn't really play as much as I did. I'm not that good, but I mean, I expected to do as well as I did, and I was whatever about it. And that was my last year playing Tekken.
Okay.
And I played Street Fighter 4 after that. So,
nice.
And then I got really into it. So.
Very cool. My introduction into fighting games came from GNT4, which is the Naruto game that was on GameCube that no one remembers. And I played. That was when. I played with these group of guys because I went to Columbia College. And there was a game club, and people played it competitively, and I played it, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this game. And there's a guy, his name is Miguel Arroyo, and his younger brother, Tom. They were the best Naruto players in the country. And Rob Nagaro, I also played with him. He's awesome. He lives in Japan now, unfortunately. That was also when Flo still lived in Chicago, because Miguel used to host the end of summer tournament, and Flo came to a couple of those. So, I met a lot of fighting game people through Columbia College Game Club, honestly, because I met Karasa through Miguel and, a lot of other people. And then I met J Money, who was more Street Fighter, and I'm not good at Street Fighter. I've tried it, but I'm terrible at it. And then that was when I was introduced to the bigger group of the Chicago fighting game community. And they're all awesome guys. I love the CFGC. I mostly play anime games. Those tend to be the ones that I'm best at because my execution tends to be terrible. So I play Persona 4. I did also play Tekken 6. And I really want to learn Tekken Tag 2. It seems like it's a lot of fun because I love Elisa and I love Zafina and Lily. But, lots of trial and error. I played Persona 4 Arena at EVO this year. And last year was my first year going to EVO, and it was a huge, awesome experience. And it was a blast. We had a great time. I entered KOF and did horribly because I couldn't even practice, but it was so fun nonetheless. And the new Blaze Blue is out now. I was good at the original Blaze Blue. I also played Tatsunoko versus Capcom, but Marvel 3 killed that. So that was it for me being good at that game. So what do you think, Miranda, about the image of the women currently in the FGC versus maybe how it was when you first started?
When I first started, I actually, one of the very first people I saw playing Tekken in the arcade was a girl named Anna.
Awesome.
And she played Ling, the character I use.
Nice.
And she was beating people. And I was like, I thought that was really cool. And I was like, I didn't see her much after that, but I mean, she was one of the first people I saw playing Tekken in the arcade, and I still know her. Like, she's still around. So, but that was kind of awesome. And I came from music games, and I also played shooters a little bit too. I played a lot of games besides fighting games. And when I started playing fighting games, I noticed the huge difference in the amount, like the ratio of girls to guys in a music game community compared to the fighting game community. In music game, there's a lot more girls. I wouldn't say it's 50-50, but it's like 30-70, I would say.
I agree.
A lot of girls, yeah. And so when I went to fighting games, the first year I went to EVO, I saw one other girl.
Wow.
Like, I saw one other girl playing. And I saw like a handful of girls that were just, with friends or whatever. Maybe they played casual, or I mean, I played casual. I didn't enter that year anyway, but it's just I didn't feel like there was anyone there, like any girls there, and there really weren't. And it's probably even more so before I even came into this scene. Like it, and now at EVO, I'm sure at least 50 girls entered last year, probably, or this year.
Right.
I'm willing to bet. I saw a girl in like every pool. Like it's grown significantly. Oh, I don't know if it's grown, but I know people actually they come out now.
Yeah.
And, at least go to EVO. So more people are taking the game seriously. More people are playing competitively, at least, and that's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
It just feels weird being like the token whatever, and no one likes to be a type. No one likes to be a type. So it's like when you're there and people sometimes treat you differently, and it's like if there's more of girls around you, they're not going to treat you differently.
Exactly.
How it feels.
No, I agree with that. The first out-of-state tournament that I went to was Aerial Rave, which was in St. Louis, and that was a lot of fun. It was actually the second one, because that was still when Triforce was doing that promotion. I can't remember the name of that thing, but it was like this huge promotion, and there were posters all over Aerial Rave, and it was like him and Justin and the other kid. Unimportant, but we went to Aerial Rave, and that was before I really got into entering tournaments, because at that point I was a little scared because there weren't any girls, and I was the only girl that I knew in my circle. And as time went on, I met more girls, because I actually know Kat Yu, PR Balrog's girlfriend, because she lived in Chicago for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And and she played Street Fighter awesomely. And I really wish that she would still play, but she was awesome. She would beat the boys. And so those were just like the couple of girls that I knew, but it's definitely grown. I've definitely met a lot more girls, and it makes me happy, because I feel in the history, a lot of girls tend to either be what I call tournament girlfriends, where they just come with their boyfriend and just kind of like tag along. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's either that, or like the girls who are competitive and they do get treated differently sometimes. Not all the guys, and I'm not saying, that all the guys are like that, but I feel like that was the point of me wanting to do this vlog, because I think that the cables get, tangled a bit. And a lot of the time, the men don't really know how to approach the women who are competitive, or they either approach them aggressively and kind of play them down because they're female and they assume women aren't good at games, or they embrace them, which is what I've experienced mostly, is being embraced, which is a nice feeling. So, what do you think? So in the last vlog where I had Anna Hart there, we talked about the term proho, which is a very recent development in the FGC, and it's a really ugly term. And I just want to know what you think of that term, if you're comfortable talking about that.
I was just thinking, for some reason when you said it, I hate that word, but when you said it, I just thought, like, I wonder who the first person who said that word was. Like,
exactly.
Who's, like, the first person on fucking Reddit, or sorry.
Yeah, no, you can curse, it's fine.
Who's the first person on SRK or Stream Chat or whatever? Who's the first person? But anyway, I'm sure it's a bunch of people. But I don't like it, because it just, like I said, nobody likes to be a type.
Exactly.
And, I mean, So if you classify it, if you assume people, the thing I don't like is assumptions. So yeah, there's girls who are there with their boyfriends. They don't play the game. Maybe they like watching it, but they're not interested in playing it at all. They want to watch their boyfriends, or maybe just their friends.
Right.
Or maybe they don't have a boyfriend or friends, and they just kind of want to see what it's about. Maybe they do play competitively. Maybe they just started. Maybe they're Kayane. I don't know. Like anywhere in that range. Maybe they're cosplayers. And there's a lot of reasons why. Maybe they're photographers. Maybe they're artists. I know one from each category, at least one from each category.
Right.
And so girls are there for many reasons. But the thing is, I think a lot of guys, especially guys that aren't familiar with girls being in any of their communities, when they see a girl come in, they want to make assumptions of why she's there. And
right.
The stereotype that's becoming less and less true is that girls don't play games.
Yeah.
Girls do play games. A lot of girls play games. And so, but when they come in, they feel, I think a lot of guys feel maybe threatened. And so they want to assume, oh, you're not my competition.
Exactly.
You're just sitting here. You're not my competition. And if they find out that you are their competition, they assume you suck. Or they worship you.
Exactly.
Like one or the other. It's, yeah, so it's like, yeah, so I've had, this is, one end is people messaging you obsessively, like, oh, it's so great that you play games. And I'm like, it's great that you play games too. Like, I mean, it's nothing different for me. And then there's people who are like, you're fat, ugly slut, I hate you, like, quit, kill yourself, like, that's the other end. It is a bunch of stuff in between.
Exactly.
But, yeah, but sorry, as far as the term pro-ho goes, I think that's one of those things that people, like, maybe make an assumption about. They don't want to assume that you play games.
Right.
Even though you're there at a fighting game tournament with a stick in your hand and a wristband saying you're registered.
Exactly.
They don't want to assume that you play.
Exactly.
So they assume other things. If they see you with a guy friend or several guy friends, like, I mean, if 9 and 10 people in the community are guys, of course, if you're a girl in the community, you're gonna have a lot of guy friends. That's just kind of that comes with it. And I think I have a lot of girlfriends for someone who plays video games a lot.
Exactly.
But they see you around a lot of guys. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they just don't like you. Maybe they want to make you upset. For whatever reason, they just maybe you did date a guy. Maybe you have a boyfriend, and they just assume that the worst of it. And they say it because people are just trolly. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I really think that a lot of the trolling has become a huge aspect of, the stream monsters and all, the culture itself has gotten huge and much larger than it was when I first got involved in it. And it's unfortunate that females in the community have developed this ugly label, because I posted the question of what do you think of the image of women in the FGC in a bunch of groups at like noon, and it got tons of hits. And one person said, and it was mostly positive, which was really interesting. One guy said, which was really funny, that players like Kayane and like Chocoblanca, basically players that aren't in America, are adored. And that's very true, because I remember seeing Chocoblanca at EVO last year, and she was like chatting with people on the internet back in Japan, and she, like, people adore her. And Kayane, people love Kayane. But then in America, the top playing females, it's like they get called fat and they get called all these ugly things. And it's just like, why can't the American players be adored? Why do they have to have these ugly labels or these things that diminish their self-image because they are female? Do you have anything that you'd like to say about that?
Well, there's a couple reasons why, I think. People idolize Japanese players in general. So a lot of, especially Chocoblanca, a couple of years ago, when I think the first year she came out to EVO, everyone was excited to see her. I was excited to see her. But it's not just that they're international. It's that Kayane and Chocoblanca are actually really good at the game.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone. I don't like, putting a girl versus girl battle, but I like a contest or something. But I don't think it's a stretch to say that there's no girls in the U.S. that compare to those two.
Really?
Even in Street Fighter, and Kayane plays Soul Calibur, and I still think she's better Street Fighter than any girl in the U.S.
Wow.
Maybe not by a long shot, but I mean, because I haven't played every girl, I haven't seen every girl play. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just saying from what I've seen, I think I don't think anybody in the U.S., I mean, no girls have won majors. No
True.
girls have even won locals, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And so until that happens, people are going to disrespect their skill because they're not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's true. And
the thing is, but the thing I feel about that when it comes to stereotyping women not being good at games, well, you know what? 90% of the fighting game community is not good at fighting games.
That's true.
You're not Rick Ortiz, so why are you telling me that? Like, why are you judging me? Like, I did better than you at Evo. I did better than you at this. So, like, why are you saying that I suck? It's like, if I suck, you suck too.
Exactly.
So like, I think I'm an average player. I'm an average skill player. And so when people assume that I suck, yeah, maybe I'm not very good. Maybe you could say I suck, but it's not because I'm a girl. It's because I maybe don't put as much effort as the top players do, or I haven't been playing as long, or maybe I just don't have that skill. I'm just not, fighting games are not my thing. Whatever the reason, I'm not a top player. And the thing is, if a girl was a top player, if they place consistently in locals and they maybe won a major, got top 8 at a major, or just do really well in general, I think they would get a lot more respect. And that's why honestly, I wasn't surprised Sherry got a sponsor, because I would put Sherry as number. I don't like having to say it, but like if I had to pick a girl who's the best girl in the U.S. or something,
right,
I would definitely say Sherry. Easy. I would say Sherry.
She seems like she's a pretty cool person. Right.
Marvel, there's a lot of girls who play, and I saw Guilty almost beat Marlon Pie at any.
Yeah.
It was like this close. I was watching. I was like, dude, she's gonna beat him. Like, oh my god. Yeah, but yeah, it's I think a lot of respect would come with that if you place, you know, and it just hasn't happened in the U.S. at least.
Yeah, that's true. And I also feel, I mean, that is very true that it hasn't happened in the U.S., but I also feel that the girls that are awesome, like you mentioned, Guilty, and Guilty's awesome. I really like her a lot. And she is one of those players that is really good, but then it's still kind of like, you know, that gets downplayed, and it's just unfortunate that it does get downplayed. Maybe that's me, you know, being a girl or whatever. But I think, and not saying that, you know, the females of the FGC should be celebrities or something. It shouldn't be that ridiculous. But if they're good players, they should be recognized that they are good players. But I totally understand what you're saying about average, because I'm not. I don't think that I'm great at too many games anyway. But I love the community, and my first introduction into the community made me love it even more, and going to Evo made me love it even more. So, you know, just those experiences have definitely changed my life and changed, you know, people that I hang around, things like that. What do you think, or is there anything else that you just want to talk about that isn't me asking you anything, or just something that you'd want to mention about the FGC, or your place in the FGC, or the future maybe?
I had something on my mind and I totally lost it. It was about placing. It's not just people don't. Oh yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
It was about guys' attitudes towards girls, and so the thing is, I think the fact that some people get played up more than they should, like I think I'm a good example of that. I'm an average player, and people play it up like I'm like a top, especially when I play Tekken. Like a lot of people would be like, "Oh yeah, you're like the pro Tekken player." I'm like, I'm not. I don't even place at locals. Like I'm not good at Tekken. I'm actually better at Street Fighter than I was at Tekken. I'm not very good at Street Fighter either. But I play a lot, and I'm active in the community, so people know who I am, I think, and I travel a lot, and I have a lot of friends in the community, and I love the community a lot, and so I'm very vocal about things too. So I think a lot of people know me about because of that more than because of my skill. But when people play it up, it makes other people hate it more. Like when they see, because they say a person my skill level who travels just as much as I do, who tweets just as much as I do, has just as many friends or whatever. Like they're like, it's like a popularity contest. I don't know, but maybe they want a sponsorship or something. I know people got mad when Sherry got a sponsor, and I'm like, shut up.
Right.
But like, yeah. But the thing is, they're my male counterpart, like exactly the same. But I would get more than they do out of the community, and they see that, and they know it's because I'm a girl. And they get mad. And the thing is, that's not my fault.
No, it's not.
I control that. Yeah, but that's because other people are treating me this way, and then they get mad at me because they're treating me this way, and it's like I can't help that. I can't stop people from treating me the way they treat me, and it creates more hate on from those people but I think those are people that don't really matter to me if they're gonna
Exactly.
hate someone like for that reason. But that, I think it generates a lot of hatred, and I don't want to say jealousy, but it seems like that's kind of how it is, because they don't have the things that they want, and they see that Sherry does, or you know, other people do, and then they get mad. And if someone, well, I don't know, I think it's great that Sherry got sponsored. So
I do too.
I don't see a problem with it, but people, I think people got mad about it, or some people got mad about it, and I think it was kind of stupid.
Yeah. It is really weird, and it's also funny to me, something that I've definitely noticed, and I've said to a couple of people in the local scene, how people will get mad about stuff like that, like things with Sherry, or maybe how you get a lot of attention, or even people like Burn Your Bra, who's also really sweet, and you know, just people like that. But then there are players like Ricky Ortiz, and Ricky is awesome. He is super sweet, and he is androgynous. And then, you know, there are other people like KO Police, and they get, you know, super praised, but it's like, well, they're androgynous, but they get praised like women do, but no one says anything about that. But when the women get praised, it's like it's a problem, like what you said about Sherry getting sponsored, and it's just a strange double standard. And Ricky is an amazing player, and Ricky deserves everything that he gets.
That's exactly, yeah, I was gonna say that. Like,
yeah, but I mean, just saying, it's just an interesting dynamic, I think. And if you have anything else to say, you could go ahead, but I think that I will open up the floor to the stream here, so they can ask us questions.
Oh gosh.
Right. So, yeah, you can go. I mean, if there's anything else that you just wanted to mention while people are thinking of questions or whatever, you could go ahead. Anything you wanted to discuss about, maybe, what would you like to see in the future of the FGC?
In terms of women,
yeah,
gamers? Something. It's just kind of like a suggestion kind of thing, like, because a lot of guys say, how do I get girls to play games? How do I get girls to get, like, they want to bring girls into the fighting game community? I'm like, yeah, having more girls in the community would help. I think with the sexism issues, but you can't just find girls on the street and make them go to a tournament and make them enter and make them care about the game. You know,
exactly.
Like some people, they're like people. Like, people play the game. People don't like to play the game. Like, I didn't always like fighting games. I started trying them and I liked them, but I could try them and not like them. My sister doesn't like playing them. I made her play and she doesn't like them. It's like, it's just certain people. So you can't make people play games. You can't ask, how do I make a girl play a game and like it? Like, everyone is different.
Right.
But
hey, Kevin. Oh no. So it froze and it called her back.
The Skype froze?
Yeah, the Skype froze.
Okay. So let's just bring it back to your lovely face for a second.
Okay. Hey guys, sorry, Skype froze for a minute. So we're calling Sherry right back. I'm sorry, not Sherry, Super Yan, right back.
You mean
talking
one of those girls
Sherry.
that play games?
Right. Sorry, we are calling Miranda back right now. Give us 1 second. Any questions that you guys have for me, you could go ahead and ask. And when we get Super Yan back on the line, you guys can ask her your questions. Okay, so I have one from Riot EXE. How do you feel about the representation of female characters in fighting games? Do you feel that there are things that need to be changed? Do you get turned off from a game due to female designs? And do you feel that there's characters that have done it right? You know, I did another video blog about this where it was about why is sexy bad, and it was pretty much talking about that, you know, the image of women in video games and comic books and cartoons and all of that stuff, and how people try to make it seem like being sexy in a game or anything like that is bad. and which is really unfortunate. I don't have a problem with characters. I think that there are women like that in the world, just like there are women that don't look like that in the world. And I don't think that girls should get so hung up on things like that when they're not, it's not directly depicting them. It is just a fictional character and it's fantasy. And that's personally how I feel about it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, you know, and doing a character right, so to speak. I also don't think that that's, I mean, it's up to those people and their artistic direction with the characters. So that's really kind of what it comes down to for me. So yeah, that's about it for that.
Do you have her phone number? Because last time our computer shut down completely.
Okay.
I'm fearing that's the same thing.
Alright, hold on one second. We are trying to get Super Ann back on the line, but I'm going to try to answer as many of your questions as possible. Let's see. You've not made... ShadowPlay65 says... Oh, here comes Super Ann. I
am so sorry.
It's okay.
My computer dead ass froze. Like, I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
Whatever you were probably saying before I came on. Sorry.
No. I was answering questions. So we got one that said, how do you feel about the female characters in video games? And if they're too sexy, how do you feel about it? I already addressed my point. And if there are any characters that have necessarily been done right. So you can speak on that if you like.
Oh God, I've always had like a really. I'm not very opinionated. I'm opinionated on a lot of things. This is not one of those things I really care about.
Yeah.
I understand why people care, but I like strong characters. But I also like sexy characters. So
right.
It's like I don't. But if it's overdone, it's like ridiculous. Like I really don't like that. I think of all the fighting games I've seen anyway, I like how the Street Fighter franchise has done it. You have Chun-Li is iconic and she's very strong character. She's not like some weak little. She's not skinny either. She's really buff and she's really strong, and her personality is strong too. Like I like Chun-Li and
I love Chun-Li.
Sakura's a cute little schoolgirl, whatever. Ibuki and Makoto are like kind of tomboyish, but like they have like a variety. They're not just like sexy everywhere.
Right, like, Rose.
Like yeah. Rose is like Rose and Viper are like mature and like pretty, but they're not like
gross.
Yeah, they're not like Viper does kind of have her boobs hanging out.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't feel. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but I really don't feel like Street Fighter characters have overdone it at all. Tekken, they get kind of. Like they kind of overdo like the storyline stuff, but as far as the character design, it's a little overdone. Like I felt a little weird about some of the Tekken characters, but in games in general, yeah, there are definitely games that are like it's just wrong. Like it makes me feel awful playing it. It's just like terrible. Right. But when it comes to fighting games, I actually don't feel that way about it. I mean, I don't feel that it's overdone in a bad way, and also there's like some hunky guys in the games too. Like
exactly,
I'm not gonna pretend like there's not. So I actually think it's when I think of it the way I feel about the female characters and the male characters, I think it's kind of balanced.
Right.
They don't have the guys who are all wearing nothing, but in Street Fighter, I don't think the girls really are either.
Well, Seth is kind of naked, but Seth is kind of naked.
Okay, Seth is naked, and Urien too.
Yeah.
Lena's like the female equivalent of Urien. Like,
yeah.
Lena's the only one I can think of now because she's new in Street Fighter, so I guess Lena's the only one. But it's not just what they're wearing; it's like how they're drawn, how they act.
Exactly.
Yeah. When it comes to fighting games, I can't really think of. I haven't played that many. I've played Street Fighter 4 and Tekken.
Okay.
There's stuff like Rumble Roses, which is obviously
true.
Like Dead or Alive. I have a lot of friends that play Dead or Alive, and I watch that game all the time, and I'm just like, really?
Literally in bikinis. So we have a question from ShadowPlay65. You have not made any references to the community, for the most part, being misogynistic. Why is that when it's fairly obvious that the community is misogynistic and is so reactionary that they will fight tooth and nail to be able to continue their oppressive behaviors and unimpede? Unimpede, I'm assuming, women. How do you feel about that, Sabrianne?
I agree that there are people in the fighting. This is my honest opinion. There are people in the fighting community that are very misogynistic. You'll see a lot of it on stream chats.
Yeah.
I've encountered it in person. Only like a handful of times. Less than a handful of times I've encountered that in person. I know that's not the same case with every girl in the fighting community. I know it's definitely not.
Exactly.
But I feel like when I go to a tournament, I don't really feel threatened. I don't feel anything like that. It might be because I have a lot of friends. I feel secure around like all my guy friends, like brothers. So like I don't feel like if anyone said anything, like they would instantly go away. Like
right.
It wouldn't be a problem for me. So it's like, but I've heard stories from other people. It's totally not like that for them. And that's horrible. But okay. When it comes to the fighting community, I think there's a lot of things people don't understand about being a woman every single day.
Yeah.
You face sexism every day. It's not just the fighting community. Like sometimes I got on a stream. I streamed a few days ago, and I had no makeup on, and my hair was in a ponytail, and I was wearing a sweatshirt.
Right.
Or a polo shirt, or something. I wasn't showing any cleavage or anything like that. Like, and I had no makeup on, and I was sure I didn't get a single like, you're fat and ugly, or like, like, don't play anymore. Like, I didn't get any messages, and I was like surprised, honestly. And
yeah.
But earlier that day, I got whistled at while going to Safeway to buy some groceries. So it's like, as a woman, you face sexism every day. So, I mean, the fighting community, yeah, you'll see it, but the vast majority of it is just online. It's just online. And it's mostly the anonymity. So the more anonymity you give someone, obviously, the more of an asshole they're capable of being without
That's true.
any negative consequences. So, I guess that spectrum is like if you have like a Twitter or something that's like, or on Reddit or like an Ask FM or something like that, you'll feel like anonymous people will say the worst things, but in person, no one's gonna say anything.
Exactly.
I mean, people will, but it's much less common. So when it comes to the fighting community, a lot of it is online.
Yeah,
a lot of it's online. And so especially stream chats. So you'll see all that in the stream chat, and I honestly think part of it is just men being sexist. Part of it is anonymous people just being jerks because they're anonymous and it's fun.
Right.
Yes. And then part of it is people just not liking that person. Some people just don't like me. Like
yeah.
They know some things about me and they don't like them and they just want to be vocal about it. Or other girls, people just have negative feelings towards and they'll just say it, but they're not sexist. They just don't like that person.
Exactly.
A lot of it's just people being anonymous and being jerks. And I think I thought about it. I'm like, well, how can you fix that? I'm not a fan of censorship. I don't think they should over censor stream chats. I say a lot of bad things in stream chat. I'm not mean. I don't say mean things in stream chats, but I say a lot of things that could easily be banned in stream chats. And I would hate it if I said a joke that was just like a really mild joke and I'm like, no, none of that, nothing at all. Like I would hate if they just chopped everything out.
Right.
But I think sexism, racism, all kinds of stuff should go.
Right.
So I think streams should have just a really dedicated like moderator that knows where the line is, kind of, and doesn't just go and ban everyone and time everyone out and make it all crazy, but someone that knows what's okay and what's not. And I heard Ultra David was doing that in the NSC chat. I think it's awesome. I was there. I wasn't watching the stream because I was actually there, but I heard about it and I was like, that's good. Because sometimes when I watch some streams, I'm like, I wish they had a moderator that gave a shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's because sometimes it gets horrible, and I'm like, even everyone knows this is wrong. Like, why don't they have one moderator just timing these people out? Not everyone,
exactly.
Just some of these things like should not be there. You should not be able to say that freely because it's horrible.
Exactly.
But like death threats, like come on, like time that person out, like at least.
Yeah.
Like
it's
But yeah, there's a huge gray area. So it's like I said, I don't think everything should be censored because it would be less fun if you
censor everything.
Yeah. I mean,
no, I agree. I definitely feel like the uncensored qualities of the FGC is what makes it charming in a really odd way, because you have so many different personalities, and you have so many people that are like Yipes, who's big and has this huge personality, and he's so exciting to watch, and he curses and does all this other stuff, and it's just interesting. If you took that away, it would be like, oh, you know, this censored, you know, it would be like a newscaster. It would be weird, and that's not the FGC. And
that's a great example. Yeah, Yipes is a great example. Like, if they took like everything out, that would mean you take Yipes. You take, like, I would hate that. That wouldn't be the fighting, but the fighting game community is different for everybody. Like some people think the fighting game community should include feelings of sexism.
Exactly.
Not at all, but some people feel that way. Like, that's how it was always. It should stay that way. And I'm like, there's other people in this fighting game community too. Like,
and it's so funny to me also, because I feel like a majority of the guys that responded to my posts that I posted earlier about the image of women in the FGC, most of it was really positive, as I said earlier, and a lot of them were like, I wish more girls came to stuff. And I always hear that, and it's so funny, because they'll be like, you know, we know, especially in the Chicago fighting game community, they're like, we know you... ... who is you know, because there are other girls that play fighting games, play them really well actually, but either can't make it out to events, or they live in the far suburbs or something like that, but tournaments are always readily available. And there's actually a girl that comes from Detroit who's awesome at Tekken. She came to Frosty Faustings last year, and hopefully she comes again this year, because she was really cool. And you know, it's so funny how that seems to be the consistent thing of, oh, we want more girls, but then I feel mostly that a lot of girls, regular girls, find it off-putting, because they're like, well, they see these guys who can be scumbags, and they get mixed signals about the community. They maybe don't even know what to expect, to be honest, and probably don't expect for people to be nice, because, to be honest, when I first, you know, started consistently going to tournaments, I didn't think people were going to be nice to me, because I was somewhat used to guys playing me off because I was a girl that played games, since that's become a token thing of girls posing with controllers naked and all that stuff. But
wait, this one?
Right, exactly. But you know, I definitely think that there's a positive light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel that, you know, the more girls that just are fearless, and maybe even come with their guy friends or their brother or their boyfriend, if they're interested in the community, I definitely think that they'll be welcomed. And I really feel that small tournaments are the way to start, because that's how I started, just locals, and then go to bigger things and, you know, step up. Or, I mean, hey, even just go to Evo, and just, that's a perfect example of the community in its biggest form. So, yeah, I mean, we don't really have too many questions. People are just kind of stream chatting it up. They're just kind of talking to each other, I think. But if you have anything else to say before we close out, you can go ahead.
That kind of what you just said reminded me of what I was trying to say before my computer froze. It was about how I think like I said, a lot of girls aren't good. They're okay. They're better than average, but they're not like place top 8 in a major good. So they don't get a lot of recognition and respect, and it's like, well, they're an average player, so I mean, I don't see a huge problem with that. They shouldn't be applauded for just picking up a controller and playing like an average player skill wise. But if there's things a lot of women do to contribute to the community besides enter tournaments, like commentate, draw. One of my best friends is actually an artist that she draws a lot of majors. She's extremely good. I love her art. But cosplay. There's a lot of stuff. One of my other friends is a photographer.
Exactly.
Photographs at tournaments. So it's like there's a lot of things that women do besides play games that you can contribute. And so if you want recognition in the fighting community, you can commentate. I think there should be more female commentators. That'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
But I mean, that's probably one of the roughest things you can do, though, because you're always on the stream.
True.
And it's always hard being a commentator. Like, I know, because I never commentated for fighting games, but I played other games and I tried commentating for, and it is so rough. Like, nobody likes your commentary. Nobody likes it. Like, even good commentators, I'm like, I like Seth Killing's commentary. Like, no, Seth sucks. He's a commentator. Like, get off the mic. I'm like, what? Like, Yeah, like people like no matter who you are, someone out there hates your commentary. Like so it's like that's like one of the and you're always on stream, so it's like one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
But if girls can do it, that's cool. If anyone can do it, honestly, that's cool. But I mean, this place is besides. You can do more than just play the game if you really want to be active in the fighting community.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, if playing games is already kind of scary, tournaments is kind of scary for you, then maybe you want to just play at locals and just get comfortable. You don't want to be somewhere you're not comfortable, and you can't. The thing is, you can't expect anyone to go out of their way and make it comfortable for you.
Exactly. That's true.
You can hope people aren't going to be assholes and make it uncomfortable for you because that's horrible. But you can't expect anyone to grab your hand and pull you along everything. You have to just kind of get the guts to enter a tournament and actually play. Yeah. And actually just do your best. And if you want to do better next time, then practice harder. You know, I was gonna say you can't make excuses. Like, there are reasons why it's harder for you to play in tournaments if you're a woman because how people treat you. But I kind of lost where I was going with this.
No, it's okay. I have a whole other place for you because we have questions now. So one time Hiroi asked specifically to you, how often do you get asked if you are spectating? I guess asked, let's see, guys are used to competing with guys, so they aren't used to cross-gender competition. So how often do you get asked if you are just spectating, I guess, to play?
I've ranted about this before, but I will literally have a stick in my hand, and I'll go up to get my wristband or whatever just to check in to get your like badge or wristband or whatever event if it's a major. And because locals like in NorCal, most people know who I am and they'll know that I'm competing when I come in.
Right.
But like if it's somewhere where I haven't been or no one there's ever seen me before, no one knows who I am. It's like they'll just I've had a bunch of times, even at NEC, like the woman that was taking the giving the wristbands out, I told her my name and I had a stick in my hand, and I was like, and she's like, "Oh, you're spectating?" And I'm like, "No, I'm playing." Like, what do you think I was spectating? Like, it's really frustrating, and it's like it happens once, whatever. It happens 5 times, whatever. It happens almost every time.
Wow.
It really that's something that'll kind of set me off. So
yeah.
It's kind of it's funny. It's kind of funny, but it's really, really, really sad. And like I hope people just because the thing is I know it doesn't happen to guys. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe sometimes, but not every time.
Exactly. So you have one more question from Shadowplay65. Miranda, how do you feel about Jared saying he wants to personally clamp down on an oppressive behavior in Twitch chats, who then went and gave Aris, of all people, a sub button?
Eris, I haven't followed Eris's stream for a while now. So I don't know if I don't know how he behaves. So I don't know if maybe he deserves the button. I don't know. I actually I can't really say. But how he's acted in the past, what I've seen, maybe no, but it's been so long, I don't know. I don't know much about him anymore, so I can't really say anything. And I don't think it's funny because I don't want to talk about cross assault much, but what I was thinking, kind of around that time, I was thinking Jared's like this. I think a lot of people were thinking this, but Jared is this super like just the super like censor this, like just like stop all everything, like take all the fun out of it. People were just made him out to be like this crazy like Nazi kind of like about when it comes to like any inappropriate behavior, and then there's like the polar opposite of it.
Right.
Like how he's like, everything, put everything in there, like whatever, like sexism, racism, whatever. Like I don't think either of them are either of those things. There's a huge gray area in the middle. I think I'm in that gray area, like where, like I said, like I don't think everything should be censored. I don't think. But then where do you draw the line? Like who's because I mean, there's things that offend me that don't offend other people, and there's things that don't offend me that there's things that you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah, so and like I said, everyone has a different idea of what they think the fighting community is, what they think it's about, and what they want included and what they don't want included.
Yes.
And so, when it comes to giving him a button, I don't know. I think Jared's a pretty reasonable person, so maybe he had a reason to, and maybe he works at Twitch, so maybe he had to. I don't know. I don't know much about that actually, so I can't really answer.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame you. So we had one question earlier, and this will probably be the last question. It's from Titus guy, whatever. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Do you ever feel the pressure to need/want to prove yourself in tournaments or at public or bigger gatherings that you enter?
I always do. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not really a gender-based question, I think. It's just I just want to win. Like, I always want to win. And the thing is, I play better in tournament because, like, I play really well under pressure. So, when I play on stream, I've only lost on stream, like, twice. And
Okay.
it's, like, Snake Eyes. So it's, like, and some other person. So it's, like, I play really, really well under pressure. So I do want to prove myself. And the thing is, usually... it might be a slightly gender-based question because when you are a girl, a lot of people will stand behind you and watch you play. Like, oh, is this girl any good?
Yeah.
Like, no. So you'll have a bigger crowd behind you than most people. Most average people.
Because I've experienced that as well.
And that's more pressure, and not everyone deals with pressure very well. I know I do, but some people don't, and it makes them way nervous, and they're just like, crap, I can't take this. Like, I don't want to play in tournaments anymore. This is too much. And I totally get that. It's probably really hard. And so, but yeah, I do want to improve myself because I don't want to see other people behind me watch me lose, especially if they're my friends behind me. I mean, they don't want to see me lose.
Yeah.
Down. So it's like, it's just for anybody. Like, you don't want to lose, and you want to prove yourself, and you want to prove that you're a better player, or at least that you can win. You can random someone out, at least.
Exactly.
Or you can win 2 out of 3, whatever it is you want to win.
Exactly.
But yeah, you want to be the better player, and you want people to know that. If
Yeah.
you're watching, you know.
Yeah, I feel the same because definitely last year at Evo when I played KOF and was bodied, it was a lot of pressure because there were like a lot of people behind me, and there were people from Chicago in my pool too, and there were people like that I didn't even know who were like, good luck, and you know, it was really sweet, and it was actually really welcoming, and it made me feel calm. I was so nervous as hell, but even after I lost, I felt solace in cheering for my fellow people from Chicago because, you know, there's a lot of really great KOF players in Chicago and I mean, even in other games, you know, and it's just Persona 4. There are great players in Persona 4 here. And it's just really interesting the camaraderie that you develop from the FGC, I think, and, you know, kind of a brother-sisterhood thing and friendships that are built from the FGC. So I think that is it for our stream. You are welcome to say anything else that you would like to say before we sign off.
Can't think of anything else. One other thing I don't like. Well, sorry, you brought the term pro-ho, and one thing I hate hearing is white knight.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
I understand exactly what the word means. And sometimes it is. You see this guy, like, someone says one thing about a generalization or something, maybe a joke, and like I've seen cases where it's like a really light thing, and this guy goes off like you cannot disrespect her, blah 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 blah, and people laugh at that because it's like an internet, like, ignore assholes, just ignore them. Like they can only make a paragraph. But I mean, I do the same thing. sometimes. I white knight sometimes, but I hate the word because people use it so often to basically condone bad, like they just. More often than not, I see in cases where someone will say something really horrible, and then if anyone says like, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't say that because that's a really fucked up thing to say," oh, why are you white knighting? Like people use it like that all the time, and it really bugs me. Yeah, I hate that word now. I used to use it. I didn't really hate that word, but now I really hate it because I've seen it used
constantly,
so poorly. Yeah, like someone's like, Miranda's a bitch. I hope she fucking gets raped to death and dies. Like the worst thing you could possibly say to somebody ever, that you should never ever say to anybody, no matter what. It's just the worst thing. And people are like, dude, like, she's not that bad. And like, why are you white knighting? It's like, no, I'm just like saying you shouldn't say horrible things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just it's kind of ridiculous. Like, I hate that word.
Yeah.
And I think if no one ever used that word, it would kind of help.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because that's the context that it's used in now.
Yeah, it's weird.
And yeah, pro-ho. I don't like especially when other girls who use the word pro-ho.
Yeah.
Why would you use that word? I don't know. I hate that word.
I think.
But yeah, I think if that word was absent from everybody else's vocabulary, it would probably be better.
I agree. I agree. I think that we've made a lot of progress tonight. I am so happy that you could be on my show tonight, Miranda. For everyone that couldn't check, we actually have 42 viewers live right now, which is awesome. And for everyone who couldn't check us out live, this will be in the archive, and we're going to put it up on YouTube and post it everywhere. Thanks so much. I'll see you at the next tournament that you will be at. Maybe I'll come to NorCal Regionals. Maybe so. So yeah, if there's anything else that you'd like to say, I really appreciate you, and I hope that you have a good night.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.